Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello dear friends, welcome back to Spiritism and the Media here on Kardec Radio. Last week I brought the book Spiritism and the Arts by Leon Denis, and this week I'm bringing this book back. So here we have Spiritism in the Arts, because in the previous program we studied a little bit about the way that of art as art and expression of God, of us to search for God and to express the moral beauty of God and not only the physical beauty, as Leon Denis says here in this book. And we talked a little bit about the importance of the words and how we can use the words in the literature and to express this beauty that comes from God in the literature. And here, today I'm bringing, because in this chapter 4, Leon talks about literature and eloquence. So we saw a little bit about literature last week, and today I'm bringing the eloquence. And why I'm bringing that? And you may ask, okay, but why are we talking about that in a show that is about media? Because if we think about eloquence, about speaking, it's what we do on media. For example, if we have a radio show, if we have a TV show, if you go today online and we have any video that we post on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, and we have podcasts today, so all of them, they are ways of us to use this eloquence. And so they are ways of us to express ourselves, our thoughts, as he says here, is a way of making thoughts shine in our world. So we are making this thought shines. So as we saw last week, what are the thoughts that are making shine? Are good ones or bad ones? Are thoughts that are making us connect to God, connect to this moral beauty or not? So it's up to us to choose how we can use these tools that we have. And as we can see here, it is a way of art. So when we think about art, it's not only about music, about paintings, about going to the museums, but we have these ways of expressing art in our daily lives. So it's important for us to think about that, so we can think about how we use those words in our daily lives. So let's see what Leon Denis says here about eloquence. So he says, in eloquence, the movement of thought is represented not only by the word, but also by the gesture that emphasizes and accentuates its effect. In this, more than in any other matter, a just measure is necessary, because any excess, as well as the absence of gesturing, should be carefully avoided. And we can think about here, because we know that the words, they bring our thoughts, but many times we can manipulate the words. So by these gestures, and would also add not only gestures, but the way we look, through our eyes. And so we have more other ways to communicate other than just through the words that we speak when we are speaking. So when we speak, that it's valid for when we're speaking or when we are watching someone speaking as well. We can use all these ways to really feel the person, to really see the person, or for us to really express ourselves. So we have not only the words that comes out, our mouth, but all this package that comes together. So the way we look, the way we express with our hands, with our shoulders, with our body movement, our body language, as we say. So all of this, they are a way for us to express our thoughts. So they are ways of us to search for God and to express God's moral beauty as well. And Leon Denis also keeps on saying here, the majority of great speakers are touched by the breath of the invisible. The inspiration descends into them in a rushing stream and brings out the expressions, the forms, the images that stir the enthusiasm of the crowds. So he says at times they feel lifted up and carried away by an irresistible current. So what he's talking about he's talking about inspirations that we receive from this invisible world. Because as we have seen previously here, and as we study in the Medium's book, in the Spirit's book, we have many spirits around us, or as Paul of Tarsus used to say, this crowd of witnesses around us, this cloud of witnesses. So we have many spirits around us, and those spirits can connect to us or we can connect to them. That's up to us. If we make these connections, if we are open to them, and we know that we can connect to good spirits or to bad spirits. It's depending on the intentions that we have, the way that we live our lives. So there are so many different factors that makes us to open ourselves to different spirits. So in this text here, Leon Denis is saying that the majority of the great speakers, they connect themselves to those elevated spirits. So those speakers, they receive that influence when they are talking, so they can talk really connected to those good ideas. And he says here, for example, he gives his own example. He says, during my career as a lecturer, I have often felt the sensation of a powerful occult help, and I knew its cause. The spirit of Jerome of Prague, my protector, my guide, has always assisted me in my task as a disseminator. Sometimes when appearing before a large audience, often indifferent or even hostile while speaking, I was plagued by physical discomfort, a violent migraine that paralyzed my thought and my actions. But then, responding to my ardent call, to my prayer, my spirit guide intervened. So here he's giving his own example to us. So through prayer, so how do we make this connection? Through prayer as well. So before going and give an important talk, pray so we can be connected to our guardian angel, to our protector spirit, before doing something that we want to do, or in our daily basis, try to pray, to be connected, to open this, as we can see, to open this path to the good spirits to be connected to us. Otherwise, we can easily be connected to the spirits that do not want to help us, but that want us to go to a different path. Let's say that. So we have many ways to build this connection, and it's very important for us to try to be today a better person. That's a way that the good spirits see that we are doing a good work, that we are trying hard to improve. We are walking through the path of improvement and toward God. So in that way, we know that we are going to have the protection when we are doing good, we're doing something that is according to God's law. We know that we have this protection. So it's important here for us to see that when we use a word, the spoken words, we are also being guided by our protector spirits and by the good spirits if we have good intentions. So if we are talking about using the words as in our artistic way, as a way for us to express this beauty, this moral beauty of God, the more we connect, the more we try to connect to the good spirits, the more help we will have, and the results are going to be closer to God. So we are going to be doing and going through the right path. So that's something very important that we, especially when we apply today, that we are so easily, like with the technology that we have, we can so easily give speeches and speak to audience that we do not even imagine how many people we can reach with the social media that we have today, with the web platforms that we have. So it's important to see that we can send them the good message, but how do we do that? We need to have this preparation through prayer and through the way we live our lives as well. So that was the lesson that I wanted to bring us and for us to think about it this week. And now I'm going to, as usually, I'm going to bring the book Happy Life by Joana de Angelis, channeled by Divaldo Franco, so we can open a lesson here randomly to finish our meeting here. So lesson number 60. Meditate on death from time to time. Death claims enemies and loved ones, and could claim you yourself at any given moment. Prepare yourselves every day as if it were your last day on earth. By getting used to the idea of death, it will not hurt you when it comes for you or a loved one. St. Francis of Assisi waited for death with the same serenity with which he weeded his garden. Thank you so much for your company. May God bless all of us. See you next week.